I now own every single trade paperback in the Energon universe. So let's do a deep dive review and talk about this universe. So let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Geek City. And today we're going to be looking at everything in the Energon universe that has been released so far in trade paperback form. If you do not know what the Energon universe is, it is a shared universe created by Robert Kirkman in the Image comic book line. So it is a shared universe between Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Void Rivals, which is a new original property. So, obviously, when this was announced, I was so excited. And now I own all of the ones that have been released so far. So far, they have released 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They have released 11 trade paperbacks, and they will continue to release them. So I now own every single one of them that has been released so far. So I thought we would do a quick review, talk about each book, and then at the end I will rank them from worst to best, just kind of off the dome. So let's get started here with Void Rivals Volume 1. So I originally, the first two that I bought was the Duke one and the Transformers one. And my original plan was I was just going to read the G.I. Joe stuff and the Transformers stuff. I was like, oh, I don't care about this random series that has nothing to do. I know like some of the Transformers appeared, but I just didn't have any interest. But then I saw this trade at the local comic shop, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll get it. But I bought it, and I just didn't read it. I don't know why. I was not interested in reading this book at all. But I eventually read it, and I love it. It's some of my favorite stuff in this universe. So let's talk about this book. So the premise of this book, I'm going to try not to spoil. Every time I do end up spoiling, I will say a quick little spoil warning. So this series starts off with this crash on this planet, and there are these two different like pilots, and the two pilots are from like opposing like teams, like different factions that are like sworn enemies. But these two decide to work together to try to return to their bases, and it does connect to the universe. You get the appearance of, I believe, two different Transformers in here, and it really does a great job world building, and you realize that these two factions have a lot more connections than you think they do. And the character work in here is great. I love the two characters, Solia and Derek, I believe that are their names, and Handroid's a lot of fun. And yeah, this trade was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. But Void Rivals gets better from here. But this one was a lot of fun. In this one, they returned to Solia's planet, I believe, and there's a whole rescue mission, and it was a lot of fun. But then you got Transformers Volume 1, baby. This collects Void Rivals 1 through 6. This collects Transformers 1 through 6, written and illustrated by the legend Daniel Warren Johnson. Daniel Warren Johnson is perfect for this type of series. His artwork is beautiful, and I love Transformers, and this is doing a great job at modernizing the story of Transformers in this universe. You get the Transformers waking up, and Megatron he's missing in action at the current moment. So you have Shockwave leading the Decepticons versus the Autobots. You have Spike and Carly being the two humans that we follow, along with their both of their dads. I believe Spike and Carly are dating. I'm not entirely sure, but the artwork in here from Daniel Warren Johnson is great. The fight scenes are beautiful. The way they just pop off the page, you literally get Optimus Prime suplexing somebody. Optimus Prime is great in this book. I love the scene where like he steps on a deer on accident and just realizes how fragile life is, and seeing him and the other characters like learn about Earth is great. And I like that this book gives a lot of these smaller Transformers characters some spotlight. Like Wheeljack, who is a big part of the Energon universe, has become one of my favorite Transformers just because of what they've done with him. So I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the final fight in here. One of the main characters gets shot. One big member gets shot in the head, and one of our lead characters gets shot in the back towards the end. But I love this book, and it just it continues to stay really consistent. This was the first trade that I bought in this universe, and that is Duke. This collects the mini-series Duke issue 1 through 5, and it has material from Energon Universe 2024 special. So Duke was set up in this book because basically there are these two pilots who are flying, and Shockwave destroys the plane, but one of the pilots survive, and that pilot is Duke. So in this mini-series, Duke is trying to figure out what this machine was that killed his friend, but Colonel Hawk doesn't want him to continue with this mission. So Duke kind of goes a little crazy to try to figure out what's going on, and he works with this doctor. And so you have these two military people, Rock and Roll and Stalker, trying to stop Duke. And so Duke is working with his friend Clutch, and they get imprisoned, and they work with Baroness. You get the introduction of Destro, Duke, Clutch, Rock and Roll, Stalker, Major Blood, Mercer, the Cobra Bats. So overall, this is what introduces the G.I. Joe side of this universe. And that continues with Cobra Commander. I liked what this collects Cobra Commander issue 1 through 5, that mini-series as well. So this teases Megatron, which we finally got some light on. You get the introduction of Cobra Commander, and this also ties in with Void Rivals. I love that with these series, you can kind of just read whatever. You can just read Transformers, you can just read Void Rivals. If you want to just read the mini-series of G.I. Joe or the main G.I. Joe book, you can. But they all connect and they all intertwine. And so this book connects a lot with Void Rivals and Cobra Commander, the planet. He's human, but he's on another planet. And that planet, one of the big members of it, I forget her name. She's like purple. She joins into the Void Rival books. But you get Megatron, a quick appearance. You get Cobra Commander learning how he came to Earth and how he starts this empire, how he starts working with Destro. But you also see the Dreadnoks like Buzzer and Torch and Ripper, and you don't see Zartan yet, but it sets up that world. So it sets up Destro and Cobra's partnership, which will be obviously important for G.I. Joe. And then you have Void Rivals Volume 2. This is really what sold me on Void Rivals, because you get introduced to another Autobot that helps our two leads, and then you get this he's not a bounty hunter, but there's this character, the one on the cover here, I'm forgetting his name. Oh, what's his name? Crap. I hate when I can't remember the names of the people that I'm talking about. It really bums me out. But I forget his name, but he's really cool. He's like purple, and he has like this hat, and he's like hunting down the two leads, and he again continues the series. You see more of him later on. But there's a really fun fight with that dude and the Autobot. So again, just slowly, setting the stages for Transformers some more. But at the end of this volume, our group splits up. The two leads end up splitting up and going on different missions. And then we have Transformers Volume 2, another really solid one here. You get the fake death of a big Decepticon character. Again, the action is great, action-packed stuff in here. You finally get to see Alita 1 and RC. I believe RC showed up in Volume 1, but you get to see RC and Alita 1 here. Also, so Void Rivals, this one collects Void Rivals 7 through 12 and Energon Universe 2024 special, some of the stuff, and then this collects Transformers 7 through 12. So, yeah, this was a really fun continuation. I really dug this one. And then you get Scarlet. This is the Scarlet miniseries, collects issues 1 through 5. This introduces Scarlet to the Energon universe. You also get Snow Job. You get to see Stalker again. You get Storm Shadow and Hardmaster. So all of the ninja stuff, which I think will most likely set up Snake Eyes showing up at some time. But no, unfortunately, Snake Eyes isn't in this book, which I'm sure we'll get him at some point. And this will intertwine with G.I. Joe. Because from what I've read, Scarlet hasn't shown up in G.I. Joe yet. So I'm sure they will introduce Scarlet onto the team. I have a theory she'll be on the second team. If you know, you know. But yeah, there's a fun heist at the beginning, stopping child traffickers. You also get Jinx in here. So yeah. And then you get the Destro miniseries. This collects Destro 1 through 5, the Destro miniseries. And this one I think is the least important out of all the G.I. Joe miniseries, because it's just a fun little war story where basically Destro is beefing with these arm dealers, Tomax and Zaymot. They're twins, but by the end of it, Tomax and Zaymot and Destro are now working for Cobra. So that's just kind of you also get introduced to like Chameleon, another member of Cobra. So just kind of filling in the ranks a little bit. And the artwork in here, I do love the artwork in this one. Andre Bresson, I believe is the name. This collects Destro 1 through 5. Then we have Void Rivals Volume 3. This is definitely my favorite volume of the Void Rivals stuff. And this collects Void Rivals 13 through 18. And this might be a runner-up for my favorite volume in the whole series so far. You have our two members split up. I love stories where all the main characters are split up. That's why like Empire Strikes Back is one of my favorite movies of all time. So you get our two leads split up. You get more connections um, to Transformers. Like you have Hot Rod and Springer getting to meet up. You also this one does a lot of world building. I love Void Rivals because one of the big things about it is Transformers and G.I. Joe. You know, most of us are already familiar with these characters, but Void Rivals is a new factions, new characters, and it does this one specifically. The first two also, but this one specifically does a ton of world building, and it ends on a cliffhanger that I'm really excited to continue reading when Volume 4 comes out. And then we have Transformers Volume 3. And again, this might also, these two right here, one after another, and honestly, this one, these three in a row, ooh, banger after banger, because this one also is a runner-up for my favorite. This collects Transformers 13 through 18 and the Energon Universe 2024 special. The Return of Megatron. Just going to go ahead and say it. Megatron returns. So you get the first part, which is just kind of setting up how Megatron returns. You get stuff about Starscream returning. And then you get this epic battle where, again, our team is split up. You have Cliffjumper and Elita 1 on Cybertron because half of Cybertron is on Earth. So you get them. And then you also get this war with Shockwave or Sound. I believe it's Soundwave. Is it? Who is it? It's Shockwave, I think. Shockwave or Soundwave. The blue one with the cannon. So Starscream has a side of Decepticons that are with him, and then Shockwave has a side of Decepticons that are with him. And while they're duking it out, Optimus Prime and his group are trying to stop them, but then Megatron returns, and it's the whole thing, this epic war, and this one ends on a huge cliffhanger as well. Megatron has returned, and Optimus Prime's, the final words in this book are Autobots retreat. Ah, so good. And then finally, G.I. Joe Volume 1. I was super excited when we got the Energon Universe, but I was worried that we were just going to be getting spin-offs that were like mini-series, but no, we finally get a G.I. Joe book. And this is Volume 1. I really enjoyed it. It's a really fun series that kind of takes it back to the first issue of G.I. Joe where they rescue that president or whatever it was. I forget her name. But this one, they're rescuing a scientist. So you have the first couple issues where basically the team loses, and one of the major members of G.I. Joe dies in this book, like really early on. So you get the second half where Clutch is sneaking around Cobra Base, and you have the team having to rescue that Conrad, this like scientist, and Cobra has like these Energon guns, and it's really fun. I really enjoyed this one as well. So now we have all 11 books, and we're gonna really quickly I'm gonna try my best to rank them from worst to best. This is all off the dome, so I might get this wrong, and I might have to come back and rethink about this. But in last place, I can safely say Scarlet. Not to say this is bad. I really enjoyed this book, and I've reread it twice. It's still really fun, but the only one is this is the only book that has not interconnected with another book yet. All of the G.I. Joe crossovers, the spin-offs have made it into the G.I. Joe line, but so far, this book has not connected to the G.I. Joe stuff at all. Scarlet has not made an appearance in G.I. Joe yet. I believe there was a picture of her in the 2024 special, but she has not appeared in G.I. Joe yet. Neither has Storm Shadow, neither has all the ninja stuff has not come back yet. So for that reason, I'm going to have to put it in last place. And some of the dialogue is a little corny, but I love the ninja fights, and it's still a lot of fun. I really enjoy the book. I just think I love the Energon Universe, man. This stuff is awesome. So that's going to be in last place. And then that's when it gets tricky here. I don't really know what to go with next. I guess we'll go Destro. Again, a lot of fun. Not as important as the first two crossover or the first two miniseries, but a lot of fun. I love this version of Destro, the Energon Universe stuff. He's so sassy. I love him. And getting that war with Tomax and Zaymot, the artwork in here is fantastic, and it's a lot of fun. And it shows the Energon weapons being made, so a lot of fun. Jeez, it's just gonna get harder from here. I'm thinking, we'll go Transformers Volume 2. This is the one that, out of all the Transformers volumes, I've already reread them all. This was the one I had the least fun rereading, but it's still great. Don't get me wrong. I just think out of all of them, this was the least fun to reread because the first half is just kind of catching up with everybody after what happened in the first volume with that big battle. So a lot of this volume is having to catch up with that. Not to say it's not fun. It's awesome. Great artwork. again, I'm struggling to rank these here. And then I'm thinking we're going to go Void Rivals Volume 1. The slowest out of all the Void Rivals stuff, because it has to start off with the two different Dirac and Solia having to figure out how to leave the planet, so that takes up the first 2 issues. And so a lot of it's just kind of having to introduce this universe. This was the start, so the first couple issues are just them having to escape the planet, and then you get a lot very dialogue heavy. Still great, but this one's the slowest because a lot of it's just world building and introducing these characters. That's really what this volume is about. And then I think I'm gonna go Cobra Commander. No notes. Horrifying, are we? This is probably the most violent volume. This one's really bloody and gory. There's a whole scene where the Dreadnoks are just torturing Cobra Commander, and there's just blood splattering everywhere. And there's an opening with the explosion, and you see his body being reworked, and it's pretty brutal. Great book. All right, we're in the top 6 now. Ah, man, this is getting tricky. I think I'm gonna go G.I. Joe. Volume 1, really fun, heist mission. I can't wait for Volume 2, man. It's just getting better from here. Now we're in the top 5. Oh boy. Okay. This is tricky. Okay, are we gonna go? I'm thinking we go with. Oh gosh, this is tricky, but I think I'm gonna go. I guess Void Rivals Volume 2, but I don't want to have to do that, but I think we're gonna have to. So Void Rivals Volume 2, a lot of fun. You get Springer, the Autobot in here. You get them having to escape that assassin. A lot of fun. And then number 4, Duke, the introduction that set up the G.I. Joe stuff. And then Volume 3, Transformers, the thing that brought the Transformers Volume 1, the thing that brought Transformers into this universe. Great action. This would have been a good movie. They understand Transformers, unlike Michael Bay. Great. And then the last 2. I think I'm gonna go Volume 3 of Void Rivals for number 2, and Volume 3 of Transformers for first place. Because holy moly, I cannot wait to see Volume 4. Because both of these books are in huge bad cliffhangers right now. I can't wait to see how these heroes are gonna get out of it. So yeah, that's my review of the Energon stuff. I'm loving this series. I love the Energon universe. This week it's summer and I've been bored, so I reread through the entire Energon universe in chronological order, and it's epic. I love where it's going. I cannot wait to see where it continues to go. Hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what your favorite Energon universe books are, and as always, stay geeky.